So we don't want to make an opt-in too complicated because it's a procrastination tool, and some people spend weeks and weeks and weeks crafting their opt-in. So if you're just starting out online, I would suggest you look at spending a maximum of 2 hours getting the rough draft of your opt-in done. Otherwise, it's just an excuse just to waste time. So what can you produce in 2 hours? Well, you can produce a list, like a checklist. You can do a report. I'll show you that on another video, how you can get that together really quickly. You can do videos. You could do a worksheet. There's all sorts of opt-ins that you should be able to produce in 2 hours, as long as you know a couple of things. So one is, what do your audience really need help with? What do you know is the one thing they're not doing generally? So what is the one thing that they're sort of generally stumbling on? And then, do you have a sort of a neat trick, tip, whatever you want to call it, secret? Do you have a tip that solves it? So we had that example of get abs fast. We also had an example of diabetes too in previous videos. So this is what you're looking for. You're not looking to get them their total absolution at this point. You're thinking, well, what is they need help with? Well, they need these abs fast for whatever reason. What is the one thing that stops people getting abs? Now, I know there's going to be several, but pick one major thing. And do you have tips or a tip that solves that? Because once you can answer those questions, then you can look at, am I going to do a list, a report, a video, a worksheet, right? Now, we're going to go over in a different video how to actually put that together. But some of the things that you probably struggle with your opt-in is actually your headline isn't interesting enough. Right, so if we kind of think about headlines, we want to sort of talk about things that it's got to explain within one sentence what they're getting. So, for example, with like all these videos, if I was to edit them together as an opt-in, I might call it, you know, free video series to finally, because that's something I might identify as a problem that people procrastinate, kickstart your online business in 90 days. So I've got a time frame, I've said that it's free, I've said what it is, it's a video series, so they're not going to get necessarily one video. This is a good one actually, because a lot of people give out fake emails, so this is a great one for getting, sorry, I just had to double check that was recording, the proper email, because now it's a series, so it's going to go out over several days. Even if that's like a Dropbox link, because it's quite difficult to send out videos of a certain size by email, or it might be a link to a YouTube channel that's locked down. Finally is an identification of a problem that people talk about starting online and they go into overwhelm and they don't know what to do, or it all seems too much, or they procrastinate and life gets in the way. Kickstart's always a lovely one. I mean, you know, because we're coming up to a new year, you could even put in 2017, you know, kickstart 2017 with finally getting your online business together, and then a time frame of how long you think it would take them to get that online business together using your video series. Now, the same thing can be done, obviously, that's about kind of what I'm talking about, but the same kind of headlines can be done with diet solutions, etc. Though you do have to watch your wording on Facebook with that. So another example of a dieting solution type thing might be get your free, what should we call it, worksheet that in 3 easy steps takes bikinis from no to yes. Now, obviously, I've worded that quite carefully because Facebook can be quite funny about any wording to do with diet, nutrition, body type, that sort of thing. This may actually fail Facebook. I don't know because I've never tested that particular headline. A lot of headlines for Facebook do just have to be tested. But that should pass, to be fair, you know, depending on the image you put with it, as long as you don't put, you know, an image of like super shredded looking female in a bikini, I think you'd get away with that headline. Anyway, other thing that people tend to forget about opt-ins, we're going to talk about actually creating them in a different video, but just where you have opt-ins. Okay, so it should be the first thing you see when you get to a website homepage. You also want it scattered throughout the page, because if people do scroll down, they may not scroll back up to that opt-in. And you don't want them leaving the page with nothing. So you want this offer in a light box, on your sidebar, you want it at the top, you want it maybe midway, and then at the bottom. And then other places to place your opt-ins. Well, I didn't want you getting overwhelmed by social media, but if you're already running several social media accounts, then you want them everywhere. You want them on your Instagram. You can now change your Instagram pages to a business page to do that. Link it up to your Facebook. Get your opt-in on Instagram. Get it on your Facebook page. Get it on any landing page you're sending traffic to. In case they don't actually take the full offer, there might be something else you can do for them. Get it on your Twitter. If you blog for others, end your blog for others with your opt-in, not theirs. You know, direct traffic to your site so they opt in on what you've just blogged about. So tomorrow, I think we'll go into how to actually create this opt-in in 2 hours and the sort of thing that should go into your opt-in. We've talked a little bit about headlines and where you should place it. So really we should say, how are we going to do that in 2 hours tomorrow?